When it comes to high volume training versus low volume training, the interesting thing is they're both correct. They are both correct because they both work over time. Eventually, they both will get results. Now, the high volume group has to and almost always discusses how they leave reps in reserve. They're not going to failure because they tie their high volume belief with the belief that failure is just too fatiguing. It's too extreme. It's not worth it. You're getting nothing more in the last rep of each exercise. Because Mike Israetel has parroted that information for like 6-7 years. He has told you that. That doesn't make it true. And in fact, it's not true at all. The stimulus does not plateau as you reach failure. In fact, I believe it does the opposite. The stimulus rises exponentially until you're done with the set, until there's nothing more you can do. Then, if you just keep going by doing more and more drop sets, then yeah, the stimulus is dropping off. Like, it's not getting any more. There's nothing additional happening, but you are creating more fatigue. It's interesting because Jeff Nippard has recently essentially changed his stance on this very topic. And Mike Israetel would have changed his stance too by now, except it would affect his bottom dollar. It would affect his bottom line of his income stream being his business, because his business is based around, RP strength, periodizing muscle growth, which is hilarious because that's been gone for years at this point. If you're still periodizing for your muscle growth, that's still like 2015 to 2020 information. So I don't know who's still purchasing his business, but they're very much behind. You don't need to periodize for muscle growth. You need to train very hard in the session that you're training hard. You don't need to hold back. You don't need to add volume over time. You literally need to get stronger than you are now. And you need to put a ton of stress and tension on the target muscles, which can be done with very low volume. It's not a matter of how much volume you do. It is a matter of how much volume you do if your volume sucks. If your volume leaves a rep or two or however many in reserve, your volume is not enough to grow muscle growth, so you keep chasing more volume. Instead, you need to train harder, right? So that's the side of the coin that the low volume camp understands. It's about training hard. It always was. It always has been. It's never about just doing easy work for a bunch of sets. If you just had to walk up to a barbell to do curls and you could do sets of 10 with them, 10 to failure is what I should say. But you just do sets of 5, 5 sets of 5, but you could have done 10. You really didn't get much stimulus at all, right? That's not debatable. Like, everyone understands this. The harder you go to failure, as each subsequent rep occurs, you are getting more stimulus. Then why even keep going? Like, why not just stop at like the first 2 reps? Because it doesn't do anything. It's an exponential rise, right? It's an exponentially more stimulating to do more reps towards muscle failure with that given weight and that given exercise. So Jeff Nippard just now tries low volume and he finds, oh wow, it works. He did at the most like 6 sets per muscle group per week, which I would even argue is a little bit high. Like, I don't know how much overlap he's counting into each muscle group, but that's quite a bit. I'm kind of around the, 2 to 4 mark right now. 2 to 4, depending on muscle groups and goals. But same thing applies. You push yourself very, very hard. Pick exercises that expose the muscle to a ton of mechanical tension. Just because you take an exercise to failure doesn't mean you took the muscle to failure, right? If you take a wide grip bench press and you rep that out to failure, did you take your chest to failure? Did you take your triceps to failure? Did you take your shoulders to failure? I would argue probably not. You just took all of them like most of the way, but you never actually took any muscle to failure, because a wide grip bench press is an exercise, but it doesn't follow the function of any one particular muscle. If you wanted a chest exercise that actually follows the function of the chest, you would have humeral abduction, right? Like a chest fly that you'd be doing. You'd be bringing the arm inward, right? That would be an exercise that if you progressed on that over time, 100%, you're building a ton of chest muscle. But if you progress on wide grip bench press, it's like, sure, you could have built some muscle, but like almost by accident, because it wasn't, you weren't picking an exercise that actually trains the muscle hard. You were picking the exercise because you like the exercise. So I think most people need to look back through their training plan. Look at your exercise selection. You know, when you pick a bicep exercise, you don't pick like supinated barbell rows, right? You pick bicep curls, an exercise there's no way your biceps are going to escape the tension. You're going to hold it there and you're going to grind out the entire exercise, squeezing your biceps as hard as possible. Why don't we apply this type of information, this type of logic and perspective toward every muscle of the body, right? Directly train it very intensely. Don't just, I wouldn't do sled pushes to grow my calves, right? But people are using barbell bench to grow their chest. Stuff like that. It's like it's not a one-to-one correlation of failure on that movement equals failure of a muscle group. So try to narrow down your exercise selection to where the exercises you're picking actually take a muscle group to failure. They don't just take that movement to failure. You want the muscle to be exhausted. That is how low volume training works. It works because you're picking the best exercises and you are exhausting the muscle in a minute, right? And sometime under like a minute and a half, you're exhausting the muscle. So the idea that like a back day should take you an hour to complete is laughable, bro. I can crush my back in 5 minutes, right? Give me a vertical pull, give me a horizontal row, right? Any of them. I don't care if it's with a barbell, dumbbell, cables, machines, calisthenics, it does not matter. I pick one of those. I will lock into that exercise and I will do it until the muscle is exhausted. I'm not stopping anywhere short of that. I'm not trying to fit my training and my physiology into like Dr. Mike's idea of how the body works or anyone else's. I have a muscle that I walk into the gym and it's fresh and ready to go. When I walk out of the gym, the muscle is exhausted, has an insane pump, and is ready to recover and build and get stronger, right? So that is your goal. It's not based on volume. It never was. These people sold you a lie. And part of them, they weren't intending to lie, some of them. But the research sucks. The research sucked for a long time because you have participants that aren't training to failure. And you have scientists that don't know what it means to train to failure. And if what you're doing doesn't feel stimulating enough, it's probably because it's not, right? If you're like, well, I did 6 reps of weighted pull-ups and it felt like nothing and I got to do 5 sets of that, you're probably doing something wrong. Just because you have a bunch of weight on the exercise does not mean it's effective. So maybe you should try what I've done, which is take a step back, cut the weight down. Cut the weight that you're using for these exercises in half even. And move with control. keep the muscle under tension the entire time, right? You know, I know there's a lot of hate on the internet of slow tempos and, why are you going slow? There's no research to do that. Forget research for 2 seconds. Try it out yourself. You have to try this yourself, because the internet is just a big merry-go-round of people saying what they think works, what doesn't work. You have to try it yourself. So I have tried it myself, and I found that it works, that I like it. You know, I don't base my preference off of what I like internally. I base it off of what works. If it works, I like it more. You know what I'm saying? Some people are like, oh, I couldn't train like that. I wouldn't like it. If it got you results, you would like it, right? Are you not here to get results? Isn't that the whole point of this? So anyway, that's pretty much my rant on high volume versus low volume. Should you be doing low volume? Yeah. The people who are doing high volume are either on steroids or drugs, so they can get away with it. Or 2, they just don't train to failure, and they have all day to train. But I'm assuming that you're a hardworking person that has a job that doesn't have all day to train. And you care about your time, and you care about being efficient with your workouts. So if that's you, then train with low volume and push yourself harder. And if it feels like it's not hard enough, it's because it probably wasn't. Slow down and do the exercise properly. Keep the muscle under tension and perform it until you can no longer even hold the weight up. Then you know your muscle is done. Then you can put the weight down and move on. That's how you get away with 1 exercise, 2 exercises, you know? Maybe 2 total sets in a workout for a given muscle group. It's because you blast them very, very hard. And that's proper training. That's how the muscle responds. Well, Cameron, that's not proper training because Arnold said this, and well, back in the day they did that, and I don't care what they did. I don't care. Human physiology for muscles is Henneman's size principle. As you continue the set to failure, you get more motor unit recruitment. You stimulate deeper, bigger, stronger muscle fibers that have to come into play because the set's getting harder. They wouldn't have shown up if it was easy. So yes, train hard. Obviously, nobody ever got huge on accident. Unless their genetics were just stupid, right? But then you don't want to listen to them anyway, because then they don't know how to tell you how to train. They just know they got really good results. So don't be that person. Train hard. Train with low volumes, and it will take a while. It might take you a month or 2 to practice this, to retrain your mind and retrain your ideas on how to grow muscle, on the mindset of what you're thinking about during this set. It's not reps. It's not how many sets am I going to do of this. It's literally how exhausted can I make my muscle in this 1 set. That's it. That's what you should be going through your head. Nothing else. And if slower, controlled movements work, I recommend it. At no point during the set are my muscles just relaxing and chilling. They are always being stressed until they're exhausted. So try this out. Let me know what you think. Obviously, Jeff Nippard found that it worked. He did a little more sets and probably didn't do, train exactly how I'm saying it. But, if you want to get ahead of Jeff Nippard and do even less volume than him, you're going to have to find a way to make it even harder. Make the set harder. Don't make it easier. Don't cheat the reps. Don't force yourself to progress. Just pick a weight and grind it out. And once that set starts going, 8 reps or more or 10 or however many you don't want to be doing anymore because it's kind of annoying, add weight. It's all you got to do. It's very simple. It's not complicated. And that's literally the point of my channel, is to make this not complicated for you guys. Maybe I oversimplify it. I probably do. But I speak this way because I was so lost, and I had gone through so many rabbit holes of how to train and got lost in the sauce, even from scientists and textbooks that got me lost in the sauce, right? So I am stripping all that away to give you the bare bones of exactly what it takes so that you won't be lost in other people's advice, right? So you won't be lost on the internet, and you can make your own choices and get the best results possible. Thanks guys so much for watching. Coach Cam, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.